The song Sexy So Long by Mana Leo, she did an interview with the Breakfast Club and she was talking about the flags. Now, a lot of people had a lot of interpretations of it. And I said specifically, we're not going to really know officially what she meant until she comes out and says what she meant. Okay. And she was talking about how she meant, and I didn't see the whole thing. I will give it this. I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw a clip of what she was talking about with the flags. She said that she cloaked herself in the Black American Heritage flag because she wants to give a special highlight to Black Americans. And she also put the she also put other African flags there to show a sense of unity and a sense of camaraderie with other African flags. Okay, because she was saying in this country we all deal with the system of white supremacy, so we are all black here. So that's what she's on. That's what she said. Okay, and Twitter is really going about this. They're very upset about it. Very, very upset about it. They're like, oh, that's that blackness, all of this stuff, all of that stuff. Now, I want to have a conversation, and I'm glad she said that, not necessarily because of me agreeing, but I think that opens up an opportunity for us to have a conversation on Pan-Africanism and on why Pan-Africanism isn't working, because in principle, it's not a bad thing. In principle, unity is not bad, but why is that not working in practice? And why in practice is it actually working the opposite way? Why in practice is that becoming more of an impediment and more of an obstacle to get past than it is a benefit? So why is there more cons rather, to Pan-Africanists than pros? You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing. The whole immigrant. I'm seeing a lot of people say, well, flat blackness. Listen, we are going to have to understand as far as the movement is concerned, and this is why I'm just strictly I'm talking about lineage, because they are black. And it's them being black is not up to us to choose. We didn't choose them being, but we can't choose them being black. So they are black. They are black. That's cool. It's fine. I never try to strip their blackness away. They're just not of our lineage. And that's all we need to do is promote our lineage. Now she's promoting unity. Okay. But let's have a conversation. If we're going to talk about unity, fine. That's fine. But let's have a conversation about why unity is not working. Why are we not unified right now? Why is this at this very moment in time? Why is the word unity? Why does it seem to be a bother to somebody? Why is the word unity almost cringeworthy to some people? And let me explain, and let me give you my explanation as to why unity is not working with the diaspora, with Pan-Africanism, and it will have a mature conversation as to why Pan-Africanism is not working, because it's not. Let's tell the truth. It's not. Pan-Africanism is not working because Pan-Africanism has devolved into almost like a cult-like religion of Africa. And it's not about black empowerment. It's always supposed to have been about black empowerment. Black first is about black empowerment. Pan-Africanism is not about black empowerment. Because the thing is that Pan-Africanism is very vague. And from the inception of it, it was flawed from the inception. Like, you can build a great big mansion on a flawed foundation eventually over time, whether the weather breaks it or whether too many people running in and out the house, or whatever the case is. If you build don't matter how great the mansion, skyscraper, don't matter how great it is, if you build it on a flawed foundation, it's going to crumble. And Pan-Africanism was built on a flawed foundation. And this is the truth that we have to recognize. So that way, when we build something else, it can be built on the proper foundation. Pan-Africanism was built on the flawed foundation that Africa is the motherland, and everything and all of that is about Africa. And that foundation devolved into this religion of Africa as if Africa is Wakanda. And that gives Africans an excuse not to ally themselves or sacrifice anything. If you guys have saw the first Black Panther movie, you saw how Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan, was arguing that Africa, or Wakanda rather, should be helping other Black people. And T'Challa, who was played by Chadwick Boseman, he was all like, "Hey, no, this is Wakanda. We ain't about helping nobody else." And let's be honest, that is kind of like that is kind of like the relation with the diaspora. Let's be honest. Watch that movie again. Watch the first Black Panther movie again. Now, eventually, he changed his mind. T'Challa changed his mind towards the end of the film, but the disposition that Africa is, hey, we only care about ourselves. That's the tribalism. Go back and watch that movie. T'Challa was practicing tribalism. That's what he was doing. Okay, and Killmonger was all like, "Hey, ain't we all supposed to be together? Ain't we all supposed to be one?" And T'Challa told him no. He said, "Man, I'm not the king of nobody else. I know we got weapons. I know we got technology. I know we got this, but this is ours. So y'all got to get it how you live. We are not here for helping everybody else." And we have not really acknowledged the fact that that is deep rooted. Tribalism is deep rooted within the African continent. That is the truth. That's a hard truth, but that is the truth. And even when they come to America, they still have those practices. That's the reality of the situation. And you can't, because we don't have a tribalistic practice. In foundational Black Americans, we don't. So we're all this, everybody's together. First off, we want to unify with everybody and their mama, and that's been our problem. We want to unify too much. And then we're trying to unify with people who are very tribalistic. So it's like water and oil, it doesn't mix. So eventually when we realize, like, hey man, we're water and they're oil, we're just gonna have to keep doing what we're doing, because we can't mix with that. Because to them, they don't see tribalism as this virus that they need to fix, that they need to cure. Even when they come over here, they still have this practice of stay away from the Akata. Okay, and then they reinforce stereotypes. They teach stereotypes so they can reinforce their tribalistic behavior. They teach stereotypes to say that we're lazy, we're uneducated, we don't take opportunities, that they come over here with a very little bit of money and resources and they do so much better than us. They're so much smarter than us. And that reinforces the tribalistic mindset. And I'm not talking about the direct immigrants. I'm talking about first generation and sometimes even second generation immigrants practice this behavior. Okay. They practice the behavior of demonizing and vilifying our ethnic group of people to verify and solidify their beliefs of tribalism. That's why they're all like, hey, I don't want Black Americans in Carnival. Remember that? That woman who went viral talking about she don't want Black Americans in Carnival. What we doing over there? They talking about, hey, it's my flag day. I don't want to see y'all stuff over here. Remember that? They be doing that all the time. And tribalism is not exclusive to Africa, because it's a lot of that in the Caribbean. It's a lot of that in the Caribbean as well too. Let's not lie about that. They are not unified in two peas in a pod in the Caribbean. Come on, let's not do that. They like 50 feet away from each other, can't stand each other. And that practice and that belief, they take here and they don't solve it, because they don't see that as a problem. So this is why I say that Pan Africanism is not working, because if the foundation was flawed, because if the foundation was about putting Black empowerment before everything else, from the beginning, it could have been something. But from the beginning, it was all about Africa. And that it being all about Africa made it to where they didn't have to get rid of their tribalism. Okay? Because if you say you're Black first and you're about Black empowerment, then by definition, you're going to have to get rid of your tribalism. But if you say it's about Africa, then you can still kind of keep your tribalism. And they still kept that. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on it. Why it's not working. And we can't make them, here's the problem, we can't make them get rid of it. They have to choose to get rid of it. And we cannot slow down. We cannot stop. We cannot hold anybody's hand and drag anybody to make them believe in black empowerment. We can't do that, nor should we. We don't owe anybody that.
We sure don't. Can I add this, Afro? Like, everybody has problems with themselves and their nation, right? So we know
Mhm.
there's tribal wars in Africa. We know Dominicans and Haitians don't get along. Jamaicans sometimes go after Haitians and all these other people. But when it's time for everybody to go against Black Americans, they fall into what we say form like Voltron. So here's my issue. When the diaspora tension, because it ain't a WAR, came to my light, I believe we were talking to West Africans where they say we may descend from, right? But all of a sudden, I'm looking at Ethiopians on the panel. I'm looking at South Africans. And those two groups, I know that we had like an affiliation with them. We helped Ethiopia. We helped with apartheid in South Africa. That's if you're of a certain age. Do your research because Black Americans were there for these groups, right? For those ethnic groups. We didn't think twice about it. Stomped the yard over here if we couldn't hit the continent. All type of things. Protested in a college, universities. Our hip hop artists were very instrumental in asking us to divest from companies that we may have loved over here, and we did it. So when we're going at West Africans, here come the East Africans. I never heard we descended from Central Africa until now, recently. And it's just amazing how we're getting jumped, but we're still winning. See how that works? Because I don't go in African spaces. I don't go on Caribbean panels. But all these people be knowing my name. PX, you're xenophobic. PX, you're this. How you know, nigga? How you know what I am? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I just wanted to say. They may have their own beefs with each other, but they're going to form to come at us. And I'm not saying everybody is bad, right? Because Honeybee will say, okay, BX, I'll calm down for you. So she knows how to be a little bit respectful for me, but I do go in rooms and she calling us slave babies and stuff in the art of
Don't
roasting.
be eggs. That's not me.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah, honey pack, yeah, yeah.
Please
But we're
don't do
not we're
that.
not gonna harp on it, right? So here's my issue.
I can
We know
vouch for
not
her. That's not
everybody
her.
is bad, right? We know not everybody is bad from these demographics. But just like cops, when we say there's good cops out there, but the good cops never speak, that's what I'm finding from the diaspora. I'll land there.
Can you
Yeah,
set
she
the
doesn't do that. She doesn't do that. I'll vouch for her. I come here
Hold
regularly.
on, hold on, I'm gonna let you speak, but I just want to have the decorum set before we go. BX, real quick,
Sure.
sis.
But does Zizi want to give her insight before we start the decorum and letting
Absolutely.
everybody else talk? Say that again, Zizi.
I said absolutely, darling. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great. That was a great analogy with the police officers. I absolutely agree with that.
Thank
Um,
you.
you're welcome. Oh shit. And Afro, your opening statements. Absolutely. Absolutely. Pan Africanism is not the solution. You know, we talked about this on the last For the Culture episode, which is why y'all need to subscribe. But yeah, Africanizing everything is not the solution. You know, that is not something we relate to. The different ways of thinking, that's not us. Okay, we are black. That's what we relate on, and that should be what we're pushing across the globe. And I seen Mona Leo's interview earlier as well. I watched her whole interview. And shout out to the sister. That sister's only 24 years old. You know, I started my delineation. I started identifying as FBA about like around her age, like 23, 24. So I'm like, that's a blessing to see that she's doing that. And she's the only one in her group of her stature, at least, that's a rapper pushing FBA culture like that. I love to see it. I mean, them damn flags, whatever. We can critique with while giving grace, okay? Because that sister is definitely putting on for FBA and putting on for the delineation movement. So I rock with it. But yeah, Pan Africanism is not the wave, and I'm glad that, especially Mona Leo, she didn't say that because she could have said we're Africans in America. You know, Dr. Umar loved to say that we're American Africans, so she could have went that route with it. But she didn't, and I love to see it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not beating that. And here's one thing I don't like. I really don't like is certain people who, when they learn stuff now, they want to act like they were never on that page. Let's be honest. A lot of people in the movement today were former Pan Africanists.
Come on,
Let's be
come
honest.
on.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
people who were on that type of page. A lot of people at her age who are on that type of page. She's not. She didn't say she was a Pan Africanist, but she said, "Oh, I want black unity," which isn't a bad thing to say. But okay, there's some room for improvement there. There's room for improvement.
Exactly.
This the whole oh wow, hell no, f her. Like come, y'all. Okay, let's stop. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's be more mature than that. Okay,
And
and
can we make
I
the
understand.
movement? Can we make the movement more attractive? You know, you attract more with honey rather than vinegar. So let's be, let's not be so quick to tear down. When we see brothers and sisters trying to hop on and put on for the delineation movement, I let us see it, man. Shout out to that sister.
All right, yeah. Now, BX, can you set the? I mean, and I'm not sitting up here promoting her. If y'all don't want to listen to her, y'all don't want. How about y'all just stop listening? Let's stop all listening to music in general. How about that? How about we just stop listening to any music at all? Period. And that way we won't have a problem. How about that? Come on, like let's not even. We don't even got to do that. All right, but
I think that
let's use that as an opportunity to talk about why the unity that should be a good thing isn't working. Let's use that as an opportunity for something positive. Okay. So with that being said,
I might.
BX, can you go ahead and set the decorum, please?
Yeah, I think it's important to watch her whole video because besides the flags, I saw a highlight where she brought up a very needed discussion about childhood trauma and what she endured and how she got over it and her parents. And I'm gonna leave it there. So don't be turned off from the whole video because you might find some gems in there. And I'll leave it at that.
All right. So we can get the room started. Appreciate y'all so very much. Let's get to Honey. You got it.
Hey, thank you so much. I want to answer the prompt, but I do want to say that I don't like what Mona Leo she did by but they said her manager is African, so maybe it was like he told her to do that so she can get more viewers. But yeah, she should have. If you're talking about your tribe, Sulani, you should have kept it just Sulani. But maybe she was scared that it wouldn't hit numbers. But it was a nice song. But yeah, she should have never put the other flags, like just focus on your, like have patriotism for yourself first, but yeah.
Ask you a question. Did you just say her tribe? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, Sulani is a
Okay,
tribe.
we don't do tribes. We
Oh,
don't.
okay, my bad, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's important.
What should I
We
call it?
that's
Lineage,
her
it's lineage.
ethnonym.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the way she
okay.
culturally identifies. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thank
So
you.
why is Pan Africanism not working? I don't think it would ever work. Even in Africa, we all don't like each other. We hate each other. You see South Africans kicking people out. We just don't like each other. So, you guys just protect yourselves. You gotta be selfish. You guys are very nice, too nice. You know, um, yeah, Pan Africanism will never work. Like, one country has different tribes fighting each other. Black people hate each other. But yeah, you guys just have to, like, someone said in the comments, humanitarianism over Pan Africanism, and I believe that. So yeah, Pan Africanism is just not gonna work. It's never gonna work. So yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your take. All right, let's get to Mr. Unbelievable Truth or Dr.
Afroly,
Unbelievable
you're so
Truth.
cute.
Thank you.
Awesome.
What's going on?
How you doing?
Good, good. I'm black from Georgia. Why is Pan Africanism not working?
Mm-hmm.
I can basically say that the type of people, a lot of the people who was coming over here earlier on was more on code than the people who are coming over here now. And the fact is that these people came over here with their own intentions. Because when you look across the landscape of America, when these folks came over here, they made their own little enclaves for themselves. They didn't think about us, and they been delineating with the steering wheel covers, seat covers, and it's about how time that we realize that we don't have no allies with these people. These people never had our best interests in mind. They was always being selfish. Even back when a lot of us was saying we from Africa, and they would tell us, "Oh, you don't know what tribe you from. You not African. You just black from America." So now we the problem. We being divisive, but they was being divisive the whole time, and now the chickens coming home to roost, and they don't like it.
Real talk. Real talk. When they were delineating, when they were being divisive, it was just them respecting their culture. But now we doing it. Now it's a big problem. Okay. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when we do it. Now, thank you for that. Let's get to Africa.
Hi, my name is Africa. Some of you guys might know me here as Abby. My ethnicity is Mandingo. I'm from West Africa. I was born in Sierra Leone. My tribe has ancestry to Mali, began in Mali. So I have like just two questions because I just come here to learn, why Pan Africanism is not working. My question is here, and let me land before everybody jumps on me. Is Pan African not working, or is it FBA? Because FBA is in the middle, right? You have the Indian Americans who are delineating themselves from FBA or the word black. And then you have the Pan Africanism who don't want nothing to. You guys are pretty much in the middle, right? Are you guys going to work within these two groups?
Well, FBA is a lineage. It's not like an ideology. FBA is an ideology. There are people who have certain beliefs. You can be a Pan-Africanist and be FBA. You can be. So just
Can you be an Indian
can
and
you
be
be
FBA?
yeah, FBA. Yeah, there are Indians who are FBA. Black
Oh,
Indians
what?
who are part of FBA. We are ethnogenesis and a culmination of Indians, a culmination of Black Africans who were brought here. They're a culmination of Black people who are we're all of that. As long as you're here as the foundation, as long as you're foundational, you are foundational, and nobody's trying to
So
make that or take that away.
what is the fight about between your people and
A lot,
wanting to delineate?
it's not really a fight. It's not really a fight. It's just something that's naturally occurring because we're accepting it now. So we're not fighting anybody because there's
My
nothing.
second
It's
question.
not a fight to win. We've already, as long as we say it, we won. So it's not a fight to win necessarily.
My second question, right? A lot of you guys say you guys have been reclassified so much by some YT or the system or whatever. But what I'm seeing is history repeating itself all over again. You guys are reclassifying yourselves in real time. So then how are we supposed to take, let's say, the future seriously when you guys have reclassified yourself, lost the name Black, lost the name African American that has all this history?
Who's
Can I
who's who's
Or
wait? You
lost? Who's
finish?
you said lost?
Right.
no, because you
Using the
guys are
word lost for?
reclassifying yourself as FBA, right?
Okay.
That doesn't mean
Let me address
lost.
why.
That doesn't mean
We
Right.
are,
lost.
not the
So,
government. We
let me
are
tell you
classified ourselves.
what this is, right? This is a cultural difference. This will be a cultural difference between you Africans, some Caribbeans, and us. The fact that we were reclassified so much and we sat under elders who gave us our genealogy, who told us how they preferred to be identified as, this was a resistance to our government so they could stop reclassifying us every 20 years. Those of us who choose to honor all parts of us, the amalgamation of us, are usually identifying as foundational Black Americans. We are 43 million strong, maybe even over that. We are not monolithic, right? So we have some strong willed people who are speaking amongst ourselves about our lineage, and here y'all come. Here y'all come. And y'all are part of the reason why we got to
No,
make a distinction because
Yeah.
before y'all were able, wait, there was a restriction on Black immigration. It was. So we are the indigenous Black Americans here, right? We're the indigenous Black people, but all of a sudden, y'all are losing your tribal affiliation. Y'all coming here identifying as Black American, even African American, because you say it fits you more. So y'all are basically contributing to our ethnocide. This was a discussion between us and our government, and y'all jumped in. I don't care if you're confused. I don't. And that's not to be rude or mean, but this is our homeland. This is how we have to go about things. And when y'all get into spaces and start talking, we got to ask what's the agenda. Because if you can identify as us, then you are entitled to things that my ancestors fought for us to have. My early ancestors who did all the work weren't fighting for y'all. They weren't. They were fighting for themselves, their family, and their descendants. The Pan Africans, I don't know. They just doing too much.
BX, let
But
me
yeah,
harp.
so I'm gonna land. Africa,
So
this
yeah,
was about us and our government because we don't want to be reclassified anymore. I don't care if you're confused or not. You just got to roll
no,
with
I
the
was just saying
punches.
I was
Let
Yeah,
me
go
confused.
ahead,
All I
Afro.
want,
hold on. Let me harp on what BX said, because she made a very, very, very good point. If you guys were not literally trying your hardest, and I know you're gonna say not me, but for the ones who do, if they were not cosplaying and trying to pretend to be one of us when they're not, pretend to be a part of the lineage when they're not, or using terms that were supposed to be for our lineage when they shouldn't, we wouldn't have to be doing this. The problem that we're saying, okay, we got to stop using terms like African American, is because y'all are coming over here claiming to be African American. Obama's claiming to be African American. Y'all are calling Kamala Harris African American. Y'all calling people outside the lineage African American. Y'all calling people outside the lineage Black American. It was a week or two ago where y'all was trying to claim Sulan. So if y'all would stop
that's
doing that, hold on. If y'all, and now you're sitting up there trying to act like us trying to reclassify ourselves to a more specific term is problematic. We gotta do that because y'all keep coming over here saying, "Hey, technically, I'm an African American too."
according to FBA. That's your reason we are
There
using those
is
terms.
no,
Or according to the Indians,
there is no, according to FBA. FBA is a
yes,
lineage. You
yes.
wouldn't stop,
Okay, a
ma'am.
lineage,
Stop, ma'am.
of course. I
Hold
gotta
on,
remember.
ma'am.
I gotta
Stop,
remember.
because, ma'am, cut it out. Because you wouldn't say according to African American. You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't say according to Black American. But you're saying according to FBA as if this is some type of organization.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, according to other groups like the Indians, that's not their reason. They just don't believe they're African at all. They
Okay,
think that shouldn't
okay,
have never been a
okay.
name. You guys are doing it. Some of you
No,
guys are
okay,
doing it
okay,
because we're
ma'am,
tethering. Wait, let me
ma'am.
finish. Let me land. Let me land, please.
You better.
But you're not American Indian. You're not foundational Black. You're African. You shouldn't even be in asking us or speaking on behalf of what the American Indians think. They could join the panel and speak for
Yeah,
themselves.
I'm just a
As
little
an
nosy.
African, you have to
I'm trying to get
understand that there
educated.
will be Abby. As an African immigrant or a child of immigrants, you have to understand there were people here who laid the foundation. We get to fight for things that we deserve, that our ancestors fought for. And your opinions sometimes are not warranted. They're not even needed. If you're confused, sit,
If
listen
I'm
to
included,
learn.
Man,
listen,
But
okay.
don't speak
Here's
on
the
Afro
thing.
behalf of
Here's
Elite,
the
the
thing.
Afro
American
Elite
Indians
Here's the thing.
either.
included.
Here's the thing.
Afro
Because
Elite
we have a
included
lot
my
of people
group,
who want to speak.
Africans tethering, right? So I have a right to speak too, right? So I just want to
You don't have
know.
to bring up the American Indians. That's all
You
I'm
just want
saying.
to know what? What do you want to know?
I want to know. One group is saying that it's because we're cosplaying, but the other group is saying we're not just African. So I want to know so I can take accountability
No,
of my
we're not just
actions.
African. No, we're not just African. No, no, we're
No,
a
I
mixture
understand,
of
but you
a
just
lot of different.
explained to me that it's because we're
Okay.
cosplaying. The other
No,
group
Could
is
be
no,
saying
true.
no, I did not. I did not say that. Okay. I said, to harp on what BX said, is that you were trying to talk about reclassifying ourselves, and I elaborated on the necessity of that because of people who cosplay. So that is why a reclassification clears the room of any confusion. That's what I said. You're trying to slip up and get the "I got you" moment. Aha, I got you. That's
no,
inconsistent to
I'm
what you said.
not, because
No,
you're
you're asking
blaming,
questions very
you're doing this
disingenuously,
because
man,
of
because I explained
us.
it very clearly.
You're
So,
saying, you just
one
explained that
minute,
you
Abby,
guys are
one
doing
minute,
this
one minute,
because
one
of the
minute, because we don't have to
African.
go here. I'm going to tell you this and you're going to get it, right? Two things could be true. Both things are true when we really think about it. We are not African. Foundational Black Americans honors our ethnogenesis. American Indians are saying they've always been here. And when I go to my education and what they taught us in school, they showed us the heavily melanated indigenous people. So there were always a people here. So two things are true. It's just each ethnic group, how we identify, pounds one
Hmm.
point over the other. But both are correct. Both are correct.
Okay.
Okay,
And
my
that's
only
what you
thing
just
is
don't
I
get
don't
No,
because
think
you're
Abby,
not of the lineage.
Abby.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
we're gonna
That's
move
enough.
on because
Now I
two
want to
things
say,
could be true.
I let this play out because they will come up. I just have a couple of questions. I just have a couple of questions. You asked like a dozen questions. You really did. You asked like 12 questions because you're not really curious to learn exactly what's going on. You don't like what we're doing and you're trying to slip us up. You're trying to find a loophole in logic and find a I gotcha moment and it's not working. Well, why does this one group say not black, but you said black and then that group said African and then you're saying not African? You're trying to find a way for us to slip up. You're trying to catch us lacking. That's what you're trying to do, and you keep on asking questions in order to do that. I want you guys to understand when y'all have these lives and they come up and they say I only got one question but ask a million questions. That's because they're trying to get you to slip up. It's like they're interrogating you. This is what police officers do when they interrogate somebody. They try to get you to slip up, say, okay, you said you were at this house at 7 o'clock, but then you said you didn't get there till 10 o'clock. So did you lie before or did you lie now? You're interrogating because you're trying to get us to slip up, ma'am. And we're done. We're done. We have more people who want to talk. So thank you. You have a good one.
all right. Nice day. Bye bye. Take care.
Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? When they say, "Oh, I just have a couple of questions," if y'all were here for a minute, I have a couple of questions, and then she couldn't stop asking very disingenuous questions. We were very clear and concise as to what we're doing and why we're doing it, and she's trying to get us to slip up so she can be all like, "See, FBA, y'all don't know what y'all doing. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about." That's what she tried to do, but she couldn't do it. Or do we have a lot of people coming up or
Primetime is
requesting?
next.
She finna go to another
Afro.
room and goddamn
Oh
go
yeah,
be in
she
there
is.
talking crazy.
Hmm.
That's why Honey Pack left
People
too.
be all like, they didn't know what they were talking about. Oh damn, it keeps switching up.
Honey Pack finna go in one of them rooms and talk crazy too.
I believe
I
it.
be seeing her on them panels talking crazy.
All right, let's
Yeah.
keep the room flowing though. Let's get to FBA prom. It's a lot of people requesting to come up, so I'm gonna have to circle some people out. But it's okay. I can let people back up, but I just want everybody to be able to speak. So
I
FBA,
drop down so somebody can come up.
I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you. FBA prom, you got it.
Hey y'all, hey, how you doing?
What's good?
Nothing, nothing. But my whole take on the Pan African movement was that an idea, it was great, but in practice, it was horrible. I don't think nobody goes back to the past and really study. During the Civil Rights Movement in 1964, Malcolm X went to Africa, right? He sat with seven, I think it was seven nations with their leaders to discuss the announcement of America towards their attacks on Black America. These Africans did not want to align themselves with us at that time frame. And then you go generations later, you see a lot of these people immigrate over here, and it's the same thing. They don't align themselves with their businesses. Hell, they don't align themselves with their families. So how can they say that we're one group of people when in practice they don't even do it themselves here in this country? And that is not just African, there's also Caribbeans. Because you go to these braiding shops, these African braiding shops, you don't see our people there working with them. You go to these Jamaican spots and get some of that jerk chicken that these niggas love. You don't see us up in there working. So how can we be one people? People don't even go back to Michael B. Jordan. I'll make this real short. After Michael B. Jordan, when Michael B. Jordan was doing that run with he was doing that little run tour with the whole what was it, Juve thing. What did the Trinidadians do? They said that he was doing a cultural appropriation. Even Nicki Minaj hopped on it. Nicki, who benefit off Black American music, Lady was saying he was, being a cultural appropriator, but she's black by their logic. So I'm just saying we're not one people in practice. So why are we gonna be one people in idea? That's all I gotta say.
Yep. Nobody said it was divisive or xenophobic. Nobody said that, and they still do stuff like that because a couple years after the whole thing with Michael B. Jordan, they did the thing where, hey, black folk, why y'all in the carnival? Why y'all in carnival? Y'all can't be in carnival. And all we said was, damn, oh, okay, all right. Now, when we keep the same energy, y'all gonna be crying foul. That's what they're doing now. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Let's get to FBA Porties. I'm gonna cycle you out. Okay.
Family.
What's going on, bro?
Black from Detroit. Family go back to 1865. I just want to start by saying Halo blocked me on another panel I had came in kind of going hard. Please unblock me, Halo. I love you, Queen. But anyway, no, Pan Africanism, it don't work because it just always been one sided. You know what I'm saying? When you think back of where it first started, or where they first had their first Congress and or meeting, that even happened in Europe. It was formed to combat colonialism. We in a whole new different time. They have whole kingdoms and empires over there. They need to get in line and unite with each other. I mean, come on, y'all. That's a big continent we talking about. Leave little old America alone. That budget over here we got, keep them intrigued and guessing how to infiltrate. That's all they got going on for themselves is how to scam and figure out what's next for FBA, man. Shout out to you, Afro. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna mute out, man.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. All right. Appreciate that. Now we can get to the black receipt.
What's going down, Afro?
What's up, bro?
I'm Black American, from Dallas, Texas, third generation. Why Pan Africanism is not working. If you look at it, it's an outdated ideology that was pre-Cold War mechanism for us to combat the Eurocentric way that they was moving during that time period, and it can be upgraded, but at this time, since you have kind of like a revising of the New Negro movement, but a new renaissance of it, it's you have more people kind of like focusing on their own community, their own home, and they're just trying to expand and grow within their own blackness within America, and really just understanding the Black American diaspora within itself, because we are a unique people and we have different cycles of migrations within the Americas. So the more you do your genealogy, you find out you are related and connected to a lot of people across this land. So yeah, Pan Africanism is something that's very outdated and probably is more useful in the trash bin in the past and something to kind of like reminisce on and learn from.
Mm, okay. That's a good way of putting it. All right. Yeah, we should learn from we need to learn from everything. That's what intelligent people do. They learn from everything. Thank you very much. And thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right. Let's get to ML Kingpin.
Yeah, yes. So dig this. Peace to the panel. First of all, I don't want to be rude. Hello to everybody. Peace BX, Afro Elite VZ, Lips and
Peace,
Pros,
man.
all the usuals, thick ass Mia. Now, retro is that retro? Yeah, retro's here. Now dig this, Afro. I got to give you your props. You read that situation perfectly. Abby was being very disingenuous. Before I came over here, I saw somebody I follow by the name of FBA Indigenous or something like that, whatever her name is, but it includes FBA and Indigenous. And she was on a panel behind enemy lines, and all the Africans were basically grilling her about the divide between FBA and the American Indians, or some of the American Indians that have been doing panels about FBA. So she was definitely trying to just drop those seeds of division over here on your panel as well. And that's why in the chat she said, "Why are all these Africans following me over here?" Is because she didn't want her cover to be blown from the previous panel she was on. So you were absolutely right. Discernment was absolutely on point. So I just want to say that, like this live, for one, I don't think the brother wanted to be on that type of timing. So I'm gonna go ahead and redirect. But you were absolutely right, though. Why is Pan Africanism not working? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. For one, Honey Pack was absolutely right when she said that they don't like each other on the continent. So they're definitely not going to come over here and join hands and kumbaya with us when they don't even like the people that are right next door, across the street, or down the street in their village or whatnot. So they're not coming over here to join with us. They're coming over here for resources, for money, for a better life. And that's the reason it's definitely not working over here. And when you look at previous generations, like my dad's generation and the generation before him, if you look at Dr. King and Malcolm, they didn't get a chance to experience the African immigrant the way that we have. You look at Malcolm; he passed away in 1965. You look at Dr. King, 1968. Before millions of Africans were able to come over here and actually undermine us and actually show us their backsides to kiss. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get a chance to see that. So had they seen all of that, they might have been former Pan Africanists like the rest of us are former Pan Africanists. And I'll go ahead and land there.
Thank you. Next, we're gonna get to Zizi. Do you have anything you'd like to add? Because we kind of been through the people who've been waiting for a minute.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to get through the panel first, that's why I was quiet. But yeah, actually, last brother, he's on point. For sure. Malcolm, I know a lot of people like to use some of the old revolutionaries to compare to today, but we're not in the same times. We're not dealing with the same people, and the people that's coming over here now are not on code. So us trying to use those same old tactics is us working backwards essentially. It's not going to work. It's too many of them coming over here that are off code, that are going against the grain, that are cosplaying as us, and just sit up here saying, "Oh, well, we're all African," is not going to fix the problem. It's not going to help us get reparations. It's not going to help us identify ourselves or reclassify ourselves, whatever the goal is you're trying to do as individually. But Pan Africanism is not the solution, honestly, to anything. So it's like it's working backwards. It's an old tactic, baby. It's out the window.
Yes,
Facts.
indeed. Yes, indeed. Let's get to lips and froze. So,
Peace to the panel. I'm happy to see and hear from all the familiars on the panel. Thank you for having me up. I feel like Pan Africanism has not been working because it's a one-sided parasitic relationship. It's been parasitic since the inception into our country and into our spaces. It's always benefited everyone else but us. Not to mention, it's been stumping out our ethnic pride for decades. Before I mean, even in the 60s and 70s, when our parents, were growing up and they were coming into the awareness of black being beautiful and rocking our natural hair and, you know what I'm saying, all the things that we were doing here in our homeland, our motherland. Pan Africanism has came to our shores and stumped out our ethnic pride and stamped theirs on top of ours. I feel like delineation would have happened a whole lot sooner had the Pan African movement never happened, and we would have had long time ago a whole lot more respect in this country, and people coming in and wearing our culture as their favorite seasonal Halloween costume wouldn't even been a thing had this not even been pushed upon us. I mean, and that's just my genuine feeling on that.
All right.
On that island.
All
Afro,
right.
can I contribute something? Somebody said in the chat, do we wear Bantu knots? And I said, yeah, we wear Bantu knots, Senegalese twists, but had it not been for us, you wouldn't be able to wear them either. See how that works? Somebody else mentioned hip hop and Herc created hip hop. He could not. And on my page, on my main page, there is a statement by Ziggy Marley how frustrated Bob Marley was that his main
You muted. Are
target, his
you
main
okay?
audience. Oh, I'm sorry. What did y'all hear? Did y'all hear about hip hop? So I
Oh,
want. Let me
your
start over. I'm
audio is
sorry.
kind
I'll be
of
quick.
BX. Your audio
Can you hear it now?
BX.
You hear me?
Ooh,
Oh,
you in the Matrix, BX.
am I in the matrix?
And she sounds like she's in the Matrix. Maybe
Oh,
it's
I
me
can
because
hear
she
her
said
fine. I can hear her fine, Afro. I don't know. Is it something on your end, maybe?
Yeah, it might be
'Cause
yours.
I can hear her.
no. It was like digitizing. It's not low. That's
I'm
the
Oh,
sorry.
problem.
oh, I see, I see.
But oh,
Okay, because
if
my
they can
hand
hear
was
you,
over
go
the
ahead. Go
speaker.
ahead. Go ahead. You
It's
got
just
it.
a
You got it. You
comfortable
got it.
position. So they bring up the braids, like Bantu knot, Senegalese twist. But had it not been for us fighting to wear these styles, our Africans wouldn't have an income today with them braiding shops, right? And Black Americans are still discriminated against. They brought up hip hop and hurt. But Bob Marley, I have a statement by his son. Oh, mute ZZ, please.
Oh, sorry.
So I have a statement by his son that when Bob Marley first started, it was like YT hippies that was the only one supporting Bob Marley, and they had to call like the Apollo or something and ask for Bob Marley to connect with those who were listening to funk, disco, this, that, and the third. So Herc really couldn't influence anything, use any type of Jamaican influence. Our elders were not rocking with reggae, right? And also, Herc had mentors. So then he came into something that was already started. We already know where most of the elements came from. And it's just like, y'all got to give it a break. And when we talk about by ethnics such as Malcolm X, y'all never cared about him before. But what y'all do is open up his mother to be kind of talked about in a bad light. He loved his mother, but she was unable to take care of him. So his full foundational Black American sister raised Malcolm. Malcolm advocated for Black Americans. When he went to the continent, he asked them to be the shepherd for the diaspora, but specifically Black Americans. He ain't never advocated for that island as far as we know, right? We always understood about Malcolm's by ethnicity, if that's a word, right? But Malcolm wrote for us. He even said Puerto Ricans and Africans should not get reparations with us. And he's tired, and he was tired of hearing the police sentiment too. So don't just listen to the things that make you feel good. Watch all his speeches, even his discussion with James Farmer, so you can stop saying some of these tropes that y'all are saying, because y'all are annoying. Y'all are. You cannot migrate to a place, participate in the culture, and then think because you're the one lone West Indian or African that you created something. It was already going on. And I land there. And
All
we
right.
broke every racial barrier there was to wear our natural hair. Y'all wouldn't have an income if it wasn't for Black Americans. Be grateful. Thank you.
But we got
Afro, I
to.
want to say one more thing before we
Okay.
go further. I want to say that I want to say my ethnic background. It is Black, Indigenous, Indian, and I also claim FBA. And I want to say that specifically for these people on in the chat or people that were up here earlier that were talking about there's a division. We might have a couple of growing pains, but no. I'm here to tell you there's a lot of indigenous Black American FBAs and Black Indigenous Americans that stand in solidarity with this movement. And just for anybody that got something to say, I'm here in solidarity, standing 10 toes down on it. So y'all need to kill that noise. And on that, I'll mute.
Yes, man. Actually, I'm gonna cycle you down real quick so I can bring a couple people up, and then I'll let you come back up later.
No
Okay.
problem.
Once we get there.
Lipson froze. Let me touch on her point too, because she just made an excellent point. I don't like to criticize too much our elders or ancestors, the decisions they made, because they had to go through sacrifices. We had growing pains, similar situation. But we do have to be honest that Pan Africanism then really was a false sense of identity, similar to the term African American. That was never something that we should have centered was Africa. It should have never been centered. We should have always been focused on our lineage here on this land. So us refocusing or deflecting to there, it really did throw us all tracking and have us to put on top of that African American term. It really did keep us back from delineating for years. She's right. Honestly, we probably would have been started delineating had we never got on that Pan Africanist wave. And that's not to, again, not to go on the ancestors. I'm grateful for the decisions that our ancestors made because it got us to this point. But we do got to be honest about it because that's a decision we shouldn't make again.
And let me harp on that before we get to the next speaker. After I say this, then we're going to get to retro. We have to understand that our ancestors, even our activists, the ones we beloved so much, were human beings. And they were limited to the knowledge that they had access to at the time. And some of them made mistakes. And because we can acknowledge a mistake that somebody made, don't mean we don't love them. That doesn't mean we don't respect them. Hell, let's be honest. We be talking about Dr. King all the time. There were some things Dr. King said that we today now understand was incorrect. Even he understood that stuff was incorrect. That's why he said he felt he led his people into a burning building because he was all like, damn, I was wrong for that a couple years ago. Sometimes people are wrong. I love Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton has a special place in my heart. In Chicago activist, there are some things Fred Hampton said I disagree with that were wrong. That doesn't make him a bad man. That doesn't take any of his greatness away from him. That doesn't mean he doesn't deserve to be highlighted as a hero. But and there's some things when eventually when I pass away, somebody's going to look at something I said that was wrong. I can be wrong. Everybody can be wrong. Okay, we got to stop acting like our activists are like immune from being corrected or what they thought is immune. Like this is not that. This is not that. Come on. All right. We evolve. We learn from other people's mistakes. That's what we're supposed to do.
And don't forget, many of them was young as hell too before they passed.
Thank
Fred
you.
Hampton, Malcolm, Dr. King, all of them was under 40.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's get to retro.
Mia, I think Mia was up. Thick ass Mia was up before me. I'll go after her. I think she was. Mia was up.
Mia?
Yeah.
Hi, good moonlight. Thank you. Before I begin to speak, thank you, Afro, for letting me come up on the panel and share my thoughts and sources because that's what I have for us today. I would identify myself similar to Lips and Froze as Black Indigenous, FBA. I would say all the terms for me. I have heavy Indigenous admixture, but I wanted to share some sources because this ties into why I think Pan Africanism is not working, right? We have people who, for some odd reason, thinks it's so far fetched that we have indigenous ancestry and that we're an amalgamation of things. I understand that this particular bloodline does not apply to every single Black American person or every single FBA person. I understand that, but we do have an indigenous community. And there are tribes, part of the five civilized tribes that are now issuing apologies and speaking on granting these people their tribal citizenship and clamation to the land and clamation to their form of reparations. So I wanted to share a couple sources if you don't mind. Hold on one second. So the first one, actually, and these are recent sources too. This is from this is the American Indian. I think it cuts off at the top, but from the National Museum of American Indians by Smithsonian. And this is an article about Black natives. I don't like the language that it used about the Americas and the Caribbean, but everything else was pretty much on point. As someone in the mention in the comments, I think that's Dawn, that in Illinois, the state attorney general and the National Association for Advancement of Indigenous People are now suing the state for the reclassification of Black Indigenous people. Um, I wanted to share another one. This one talks about the freedmen of the five civilized tribes. And what a lot of people don't understand is that we were also enslaved by them as well. My personal history includes that enslavement of the Chickasaw Nation. So I would consider myself a Chickasaw freedman of Mississippi. My subgroup is Chicago Mississippian. So my father, this is my father's lineage. He's both of his sides is from Mississippi, actually, but particularly his mother's father is of the Chickasaw freedman lineage. And his particular bloodline was sold off to a white Irish man during the Trail of Tears after being enslaved by them. So they were enslaved by the indigenous first and then resold to the white man. And then with the land. And then to this day, the cemetery still exists. In Mississippi, I have a photo. I know the address. There's a historical marker on it. So, and also I've done my genealogy clearly. There's nations like the Cherokee Nation, the Muskogee. Muskogee is the Mississippi area with the Creek nations and things like that, where most of the five civilized tribes come from. So yeah, a lot of people don't know. So this is another one, how enslaved Black people journeyed on the Trail of Tears. So, like in the second paragraph, it says many Native Americans were enslaved alongside African Americans, even though I don't like the terminology, but we know who they talking about. So yes, I'm sorry. I digress.
All right. All right. Appreciate that. Appreciate that knowledge. That's very important. Because they used to gaslight us some years ago. Remember that? They was all like, "Where's your tribe? Where's your tribe? You think you're Indian because your grandma said so, but you don't have a tribe." Now, what they got to say?
Facts.
Next, Retro, you can go ahead.
Hey, thanks, Afro. How's everybody doing? Mia, send me those links too if you can. That chick that came up, that Abby, that Africa had that AI face on there. Um, Here's the thing: we have completely nullified the tether class. They're basically spinning in the wind right now. They're not a threat to us anymore, and they know it. They're trying to find any loophole to crowbar themselves into the conversation when the conversation is about us, about them. If there's any type of division, which I told you about a week ago, Afro, that I think it's all COINTELPRO agent type of stuff anyway, because I know a lot of indigenous folks, a lot of native folks, a lot of FBA, Solani, Aboriginal folks who say, what's all the beef coming from? But I thought we were all the same. Like, I thought everything was all cool. Because I'm cool with a lot of folks that that are have these different titles, but at the end of the day, they like, nah, the beef is unnecessary, because it is. So now here she comes, excuse my terminology, with her two dusty feet, walking over to this side. Oh, see, the indigenous said they're different from the FBAs. So what that got to do with you? What that got to do with the price of tea in China? So if we're having a conversation amongst our group, what does that got to do with you? You don't see us trying to crowbar ourselves into any conversations y'all got going on over there in Africa. Yesterday, right, I was on a live where this South African woman came out and said the honest truth. She said, "I am against Pan Africanism. I don't want the Nigerians coming to South Africa messing up our economy." And I was like, I can respect your honesty. Pan Africanism only works in the United States. It doesn't work anyplace else. That's why I'm like, yo, this junk is just It's like that dude that gets out of jail after he read a couple of books because he never read his whole life, and now he's trying to educate us on something. That's what basically the whole origin of Pan Africanism. That's pretty much what it became. A bunch of jail dudes like, see, brother, see, you got to connect with the CMOS energy of the most high indigenous self off the motherland. But what I'm really trying to say, brother, is you got $5, Akamaru? That's literally what it is. That's all it is. It only works here because I'm telling you right now, if Pan African was so really what it was, they would make a lane for all people, all melanated people from all over the world to come over there, but they don't. Why are there more Asian folks, more European folks over in Africa than Caribbeans and Black Americans? And this ain't even me talking like, no, it only works here. And to the people from the islands, I don't care what these people over there all the way across the ocean is saying, but y'all should know better. You Caribbeans should know better. That's why when I hear y'all talk about, oh, that's why y'all a bunch of slave babies, what do you think your ancestors were? What do you think was going on them islands? And the fact that y'all would even come out your mouths and even disrespect us like that, that cut deep. And that's when I knew it was up for the rest of y'all. I knew it was up. We got CNB. Listen, the time to unify came and went. It's too late now. We're done with that. And y'all sit up here and talk about why don't y'all go at the YT people like that? We've been the only ones going at them like that. Ask BX. I was on the live late early yesterday morning, getting in on this 18-year-old YT boy talking about he was being discriminated against because of this color of his skin. And he outright told a straight up lie. And I called him out on that. I said, you're an 18-year-old YT boy. The world is your oyster. You can go anywhere on the planet and be just fine. What are you talking about? You're being discriminated against? You got $1 million worth of white skin. Remember when Paul Mooney said, every time I see a homeless YT person, I just shake my head and say, what a waste of YT skin. So if any YT person on here, if you out here failing, if you out here losing, you did it to yourself. They really rolled out the red carpet for them. So to all you Caribbeans and to all you Africans who saying we don't go at them, we go at them the hardest. The problem is why y'all don't go at them the hardest when they're the ones tearing up your land, when they're the ones making you can't even go in their own places on your homeland, when they're colonizing your places still. I don't want to hear that noise no more. We're moved on. This conversation is going off the internet and is going into these legal offices. It's going into the Chamber of Congress. It's going right down to the Senate because our reparations is coming. We're closer than we ever been. And now the fact that y'all want to sit up here and cause this little division right now is really COINTELPRO-ish. So I'm gonna lay my plane with that.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Who was next? It was Tyron was next.
What's going on, Afro Elite? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Well, I come from the indigenous paradigm myself. I got some disagreements with the ideology because based in law, yeah, you gotta claim indigenous stuff before you can even like state Salon or FBA because you gotta link up with that tribe, you gotta link up with your family roots and all that. And I do have discrepancies against Tariq Nasheed. Myself personally, I even provided critique on his American Maroon movie because
Brother, this
like the
ain't
dude
about
got to
Tariq.
brush
It's
up on the
about Pan
indigenous stuff real
Africanism,
quick.
please.
Dude, I'm
But
gonna be honest with you, brother. We
but at the end of the day, I agree.
Bam.
Well, address the
Boom.
prompt. We ain't
Still
talking
on the
about
topic.
Tariq.
Oh,
God
well,
damn. Boom.
with
Address
the
the prompt.
prompt per se with
Who
Pan
the fuck is
Africanism,
that?
we've been put them cats to bed since 2015. Like ever since African Americans ain't African, uh people that came from like the Google Plus days, doing the indigenous phenotype comparisons and talking about the history about our lost indigenous heritage within the family, it's gained momentum and brought y'all over a little bit closer to our perspective. And I commemorate y'all for looking into y'all stuff, pulling up your family's Indian rumor in the family instead of listening to this clown Skip Gates over here lying on our history and trying to entertain hiding Ben Affleck stuff. But to get into the prompt
Can I
with
thank you to the prompt, please,
yeah,
please,
Ben
please.
well, the history behind that Pan African stuff that was created by like you had your Royal Geographic Society in London. These cats created this artificial thing of Pan Africanism, and you also had your founding fathers trying to push this go back to Africa stuff. And many of these people had nothing to look forward to because they was banning us from practicing Indianness. And so they just say, hey, F it. I'm just gonna stick with whatever massa give me. But people been holding on to that stuff. Well, now we're pushing back, and I commemorate you guys for joining on our side of things. And I yield the mic.
Thank God. Lord Jesus, I ain't hear shit he said after I got a gripe with Tariq. Y'all please get the hell on somewhere with that shit, man. It's annoying as
Right.
shit.
Like we are read the prompt, address the prompt. We ain't talking
Yeah,
about
I'm addressing the prompt, but I'm
bro. If you want
commiserating
to
y'all.
talk to
I just
Tariq,
got a
Man,
No,
get your
that's
stupid ass on the way.
oh man, gosh,
Nobody would join the damn fan club, man. Nigga, like for real. If y'all want to talk
yeah.
about Tariq all fucking day, go do that.
if
Go
bro,
somewhere
if
where they
you were
want to do that.
if you were agent, just say that. What
Just
Tariq
say
got to
that.
do with the
Damn.
panel?
It's annoying
Goodness,
as shit. I don't know how he
Yeah.
do that shit, bro. It's annoying.
To be totally honest with you, based off his voice, I thought he was white. I thought he was white till I saw him.
That nigga with no FBA.
I thought he was. He just sound. I'm like, oh god. But I saw he took the picture. I'm like, okay, I guess he's not white. But anyway, we just not on that. And nobody care for what he has to say. Let's get to Tens or Din Zimus. Din Zimus.
Hello, hello.
How you doing?
I imagine we're about to have another person making a room talking about Tariq in any minute now. But to answer the prompt, I think Pan Africanism died the moment these people sold us off. Pan Africanism died when these same cheetah piss smelling tethers were on Twitter years ago and are still on Twitter talking about how they sold us off, how they were just how we won, how we're glad our ancestors sold you. What are we supposed to do with that? And like, can anybody answer that question for me? Like, I don't know what are we supposed to do with that? Are we supposed to just like forget all of that? Are we supposed to just be like, oh, we forgive you? No, 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 because now that now that the Orange Man is in office, they want to be all kumbaya and all of this stuff because there was an incident today or yesterday where I think a Caribbean person was caught by ICE, and yeah, that's not our issue. We can't be deported, but yeah, it died when all of that stuff happened, and just this fool talking about slavery never happened. Okay, okay.
Who said that?
Somebody in your comment section, I see you. Okay. And anyway, see, that made me lose my train of thought.
The chat room will throw you off, brother.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah, we can't really do anything with those people because I know for a fact when I do feel like the Democrats are going to be getting to office again, but I know for a fact once the Democrats whenever they get into office again, these tethers and all these other groups, they're going to start talking down upon us again. They're just trying to be nice to us because they're in an effed up position. But best believe when they get their weight up or try to get their weight up or try or have a chance to, they're going to be right back to square one talking a bunch of shit, just like they were before Trump got into office. And yeah, when he did get in the office, they want to act all nice, but I don't. I have a good memory. I once again, I remember how much shit they were talking on them Twitter Spaces. I remember how they were talking before Trump got in the office. They were talking mad shit. Okay, and like I said, once the Democrats or whoever, when the opportunity presents itself, they'll be back to backstabbing us. So I don't really think there is going to ever be any Pan Pan Africanism, because these people just maybe on an individual level, there not maybe there are some Africans and Caribbeans who are
Okay, brother.
cool. Am I being long winded?
A
You want
little
me to
bit.
land? Okay, I'm gonna end it by saying this: there are a few people in the diaspora who are, they're cool and everything, but for the most part, as a collective, if they haven't, they're still displaying behaviors from 500 years ago. So I just don't really have any faith until I see a collective change. But that's it.
All right. Like I said,
Afro, can
is
I
there
say
be?
this? I'm sorry. I just want to make a general statement that if you didn't have enslaved ancestors, that's fine. That's specific to your lineage. But there are those of us who have it. And when you say past Twitter, some of us do find remnants, like bill of sales, things like that, wills, XYZ. So please, let's be respectful. We're all the same lineage with variations, and you don't have enslaved ancestors. That's fine. But don't question those who do and who acknowledge it. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So now we're gonna get to Omega and then Amira.
B1 to the panel.
Be one to you, brother.
Oh yeah, I agree with your opening statement, man, about everything that you said about Pan Africanism. I did want to build upon it a little bit. Pan Africanism isn't working because it was meant to be a cure to Pan Europeanism, and we all know that it's just another way of saying YT supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
So from that aspect, you got to look at what we as black people over here in America value and what they value. Like, we really see black empowerment as the cure for YT supremacy. You know what I'm saying? And like, they really don't. And a lot of that plays into the fact that I don't really know if they value their blackness the way that we do. If you don't have a value in who you are as a person, you'll never, ever, strive to achieve better. And I think that's been a motivating force with what we produce over here. We got a culture of resistance, and we don't really deal with bowing down to other groups. You know what I'm saying? So I think that kind of plays into it, and that's pretty much where I come down at with it. We don't worship Africa. We worship our ancestors. Well, I don't even know if we really on that level of that, but we see a real value in our blackness, and a lot of the people in the diaspora don't. So I land my plane there, man.
Unfortunately, they don't. But we got to keep doing what we're doing. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
And you can drop me.
Okay. Got you. Got you. Amira, you got it. Oh, she hear me? Amira, you got it. Okay. Well, she's not here with us, so we give it a little second, but we're gonna move down to the next speaker. We're gonna get to S. Randall.
Hey, my brother, what's up?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for allowing me up. I wanted to point out a couple of things. I really want to get into this thing about indigenous, but let me go to the prompt first about why Pan Africanism isn't working. It isn't working for a very simple reason. It's because we are now waking up. That's why it's not working. Many people on this panel have said it already. Pan Africanism is for America. It doesn't work anywhere else. If Pan Africanism made a difference, there wouldn't be so much tribalism and things going on over in Africa, right? You have to look at it like this, right? If you can look at it like this, understand this: we are the fertile young woman that everyone wants to have a baby with. No one is trying to, in the diaspora, they're not trying to build and create anything with Nigeria or South Africa. They're trying to create, we are the springboard. We are the fertile springboard from which they can create greatness. And so that's what Pan Africanism was about, to court us, to have everyone come to us so that they can use us, use our womb, if you will. You understand? There's something about us that's different than everyone else. And this young lady made a post about this. It had just occurred to her. And she has a point, right? Is that the Nigerian ain't nothing without Nigeria. That's where his pride comes from. It ain't in being black. It's only in being Nigerian. The same thing with everybody from everywhere else in the diaspora. I'm Jamaican. I'm Haitian. You know, that's where their pride comes from. That land. Our pride isn't coming out of the land. We, the man, whether we in America or whether America falls or rise. As far as we're concerned, as a people, we're the shit. You know, it's not because of the land. They are nothing without their land.
Hmm.
That is where their pride is derived from, as opposed to us. And then I'll go into this whole
What
thing
happened?
about being indigenous, right? And this is something and a mistake I see people making about, well, we can't be indigenous, or if we indigenous is because we were the slaves of some Indian tribe or we was mixed or something like that. I want to caution y'all to go back and with fine tooth comb and revisit history. We are the ones. You figure the brother who's the host right now, African Elite, you look at his image and you say, oh, well, he has to have some white in his background, white tea in his background. He may or he may not, but he doesn't necessarily have to, because this is what we produce. We produce in one family a brother that looks like him and a brother that's 5 shades darker than him from the same mother and father. That is what we produce by nature. When you go and you look at the writings of Verrazano, everybody talk about that. Verrazano was here in New York, in Rhode
Yeah,
Island. Um,
yeah.
so brother at the top, you on.
Hold on. Let's not do that. All right, go ahead. You can land. You can land.
Oh, he was here in this land, and he described four different quote unquote tribes that he encountered. This is just 30 years after Columbus so-called discovers America. This is before the transatlantic slave trade. Y'all go back and read those letters. They're there, right? Read it. He's describing four different groups of people. And who is he describing? He's not describing these white tea so-called Indians. He's not describing these Asian and Mexican, the people we think look like Mexicans. He's not describing them. And these so-called 13 colonies that they conquered, stole to create the U.S., the United States government. It wasn't those people. It was us. They're describing us, right? I went back and looked at the those Indian tribes, or so-called Indian tribes, in the Maryland and Virginia area, and the first contacts with the Europeans they had, who also wrote books about the people. They described us. They didn't describe them. They described us. How many of y'all have babies or have family members that have babies, and they come home from the hospital and somebody saying, yeah, he gonna darken up, he gonna darken up. Look around the ears, he gonna darken up, baby white, but they get dark, right? That's not the Africans. That's not these Mexicans. That's not these so-called Native Americans. That was us, and that's how they described us before the transatlantic slave trade. So you'll hear people saying there's no evidence that there were blacks or Africans in America prior to the slave trade. That's true, because we're not black. We're not African. That's a whole nother thing. It goes into the words that we use, you know? But they were describing us here from the beginning. It was us who were here. So you don't have to have had some admixture or something like that. All this mixture of various people in our bloodlines and stuff like that, that's a recent phenomenon. That wasn't going on back then. Go read the ancient America, the history of ancient America. When these Europeans are writing back to Europeans about the people that they're finding in North America and South America. We wasn't mixing with nobody. In South America they was, but not up here. We wasn't. That's not our nature. And that's another thing about, oh, what's your tradition? What's your tribe? What's this? What's your culture? There's something else I discovered from doing my own genealogy. We are who we always were. And what I mean by that is you go back, because something told me go back and research every so-called Indian WAR, every Indian conflict that they had from the early 1600s, actually going through the 1800s. And I'm out of New York. I'm out of Brooklyn, New York. And I swear to you, I'm not making this up, and I wasn't looking for this. I didn't know what the conflicts were about. I wanted to read, see what was going on. Why were they fighting? Why were there so many WARs? And it was a lot of them, right? For more than 100 years, there were a lot of them. And all I could see was ninjas from East New York, Brooklyn. We act the same and behave the same as we did back then as we do today. There's no difference. We are who we always were. It's in our nature. And I'll land with that.
Deep, brother. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So my family wasn't the only one who had light skinned babies who turned dark. Okay.
I swear, I'm like, hold up, that's just
My
an
family wasn't.
FBA
I'm
thing.
saying, like, damn. My family wasn't the only one who had all these light skinned babies turned dark. Okay.
Yo, I did not know that was just an FBA thing. That's crazy. I'm weak.
All right. All right. You sit there and look like, damn. You know my cousins. All right. All right. Cool. My brother cooking.
Nah,
Let's
for
see.
real. Shout out to him. He did
Yeah.
that.
Let's see. Before we get to, because we're gonna move on to AI, but before we get to AI, Amira, are you here?
Tamara.
Amara, Amara, are you here? Okay. AI, go ahead. You got it.
What's going on, brother? How y'all doing,
How
panel?
you doing, brother?
Good. S. Randall pretty much summed it up. You know, he summed up a lot, but I'm gonna just say, piggyback of what he just said, that Pan Africanism is not working because it's just a bad contract, man. Very one sided. Pan African only works on the back of us. It doesn't really work on the reverse. We can't benefit from it no how because these other people ain't got their country straightened out. So it only works over here, and then we don't really benefit off of it at all. And picking back on what he said about being indigenous, which I think he's correct. I think there were black. Well, I know there were black people on this landmass before any Europeans brought over any slaves, but I do think that they did bring over Africans. It wasn't a large portion. It was probably like maybe 3% to North America or 2%. And we do have admixtures of Africans, but just to label us as Africans is incorrect because we have other admixtures. And then we did go through a process of ethnogenesis. So that's what we call Black American. Black American is an admixture of different things, whether you have more European or more African or Black indigenous in you. And then we created the culture, hip hop, ebonics, and all that. So that's all I have.
Yep. Thank you, brother. Clear and
I've
concise.
seen his content before too. He alright. Let me follow him.
You said
He
what?
cool. I've seen that brother content before. One of his videos popped in my time. I think two of them actually. I recognized him as soon as I clicked on his page though. He cool.
Oh, okay, cool. Shout out to the grassroots in the chat room. All right, I love to see it. Love it. Now we're gonna get to my brother Black Vanguard.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Can y'all hear me okay at the audio?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to read the prompt why Pan Africanism has not working. See, Pan Africanism has never worked because a lot of our people used to be Pan Africanists. And I quote a quote, and I ask people, is that name me one African and Caribbean Pan Africanist organization here in America? There is none. Because a lot of our people have to question, name me any African and Caribbean Pan Africanist organization in America. All these other African and Caribbean organizations, they specifically focus on a ethnic group. Like you got a whole entire Haitian organization that carry the Haitian people, like the Haitian Bridge Alliance, the Haitian American Caucus. Jamaicans got their own organizations. It was this article that came out on Harvard University how Jamaicans had their own scholarship program for Jamaican people only. Same thing in California. You got Ethiopian organization that care specifically for Ethiopian people only. They're not Pan Africans though. That's why they want to be Pan African so bad, so they could benefit off our struggle. And it's actually one side. It never benefited our people though. Like we seen the people what going on. How you had that Jamaican tether woman that was part of the DOJ, that was a Jamaican, a lawyer for the DOJ, how she said a whole bunch of things towards Foundation Black Americans. Same thing, you have Vet Clark, the head of the Congressional Black Caucus out of New York City. She said we need more immigrants to our district, so she wanted to carry it to the Foundation Black Americans in her district. You had people like Ida Omar said that she's looking out for the interests of Somalia instead of looking out for the interests of Foundation Black Americans. And then because I travel all throughout the Caribbean, how Jamaicans talk about they created hip hop, which is a lie. I'm glad our good brother Tyree Now Sheep made a hip hop documentary to debunk the lies. Back in the days in New York City, Jamaicans didn't have nothing to do with hip hop music. I remember when Black Americans was playing, Foundation Black Americans was playing hip hop. The Jamaicans were the main ones say, get that Yankee music up out of you. We don't want to play that. And also the Jamaicans that was playing hip hop music, the other Jamaicans would beat them up and sometimes unalive them for playing hip hop music in their reggae dancehall concerts during that time. So that's actually a lie. And also is that Jamaicans, and that's for Black Americans, the Jamaicans actually started a whole entire gangs called the Shower Posses, where they dump a whole lot of pharmaceuticals in our community. So Jamaicans will mess with Foundation Black Americans, especially in the 70s and the 80s. So that's a lie. Anybody that's from the East Coast and in Florida will tell you the difference. The brother AI would vouch for that too, how them Jamaican Shower Posses would terrorize the Foundation Black American communities all throughout the East Coast and in Florida, especially in the 70s and the 80s and part of the 90s, though. Anybody can vouch to tell you that. And also, his other incident is that I travel all over the Caribbean. I'm a world traveler. I just got back from Japan, but I went to 7, 8 different Caribbean countries over there. I went to Jamaica. The Jamaican music, they got that from us. Like, their rhythms over there in Jamaica don't sound none like Foundation Black Americans. They talk about the food they got from them. It's not. Their culture is completely different in Jamaica compared to here in America. And also, over there in Jamaica, though, they not Pan Africans over there in Jamaica. I'm glad I'm going to bring this Marcus Garvey story up real quick. And Marcus Garvey, his own people basically, shit, I don't know if I can say that word. I'm not going to say that word. But I know his own people in Jamaica had nothing to do with Marcus Garvey. He got that so-called UNIA, Pan Africanism started here in America. He didn't get it started in Jamaica. His own people over there in Jamaica, SHIT, on Marcus Garvey. And also, when Marcus Garvey went back to Jamaica, they almost unalive Marcus Garvey. They elected a white man over here, and Marcus Garvey even never made it back to Africa. He ended up unalive. He ended up passing out and made it to the spiritual war out there in England. So that's another lie these Jamaicans like is talking about. And also,
Wait,
Pan
wait, wait.
African.
Stay there, Black Vanguard. Afro Elite. So one of the Jamaican tethered trolls from New York who trolls Tariq has made his way into your chat, and he's pissing me off.
What's his
Yeah,
name?
Can you offer him the conversation, or can I mute him? Because I don't feel like a
What's
gentrifier
his name?
from New York tonight.
What's his name?
His name is Revenue.
Revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Revenue?
Oh, you know him too? You
yeah,
know
I know.
everything, Black Vanguard. We need you on
Okay,
our team.
well, hit
Sit
the
tight.
request button, Revenue.
And
Yeah,
also,
because
Put it
the
in the chat, man.
comments, it gets lost. Let me just say this. If you have a valid point that you want to argue, please don't keep saying it in the chat. Please come up on the panel. Please know that I'm
Yeah.
foundational Black American from the age of hip hop's origins, right? I'm like 3 years younger than hip hop. And I'm not going to let you gentrify hip hop the way you gentrified Brooklyn, Revenue.
Yes.
So you got somebody who's of the soil in New York, descend from the enslaved in New York. So you could come up and have the conversation with Afro, but I'm going to fact check you every time. Thank you.
All right. Revenue, you got 2 minutes. Revenue,
I'm a
BX, what we'll do in 2 minutes, he finds the request. You say you don't know how to come up. That's too bad. In 2 minutes, he's going to have to hit the request. If he's not requested in 2 minutes, you can just get rid of him. But I'll let
Okay, because
Vanguard
he featured
land.
on Tyreek's live yesterday. He brought his ass up there
Yeah, he
yesterday.
brought it.
I
Yeah,
saw him.
yeah, okay. And I've seen him
he's
up on
from
different panels before, so
yeah, he's
he's
from
playing
Twitter.
dumb.
Yeah, he's from Twitter though. He migrated from Twitter to TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And but also is that
You can
another reason
request
you
if the
have this,
panel is full. You can still hit the
and,
request button. But go ahead,
and
Vanguard.
also and also you had this Jamaican you had this not the, how long, let me see what I was, oh yeah, I was focused on, we actually have our delineation bill called SB 515. It's the delineation segregation bill that just passed. The Governor Newsom signed it into law. We actually pressure him. You had these tellers working behind the scenes, these Democratic shields was trying to get Gavin Newsom to veto our delineation reparations bill. It's a delineation that segregation bill supposed to get off of employment disparities all throughout the cities and counties, all throughout the state of California. That gets put into law January 1st, 2027. So we actually forced Gavin Newsom, them tatters, they real mad behind that delineation bill that got passed out here in California. So we need, and they know delineation is working. You had this tether woman called Africa, I think, I forgot her name, Abid or something like that. She's not in Africa. She's all in foundational Black American business. I'll tell her, how come you not in Sierra Leone business? See, these tethers, there's so much success what goes on in America, though. I Every African country I've traveled to and stuff like that, I never got involved in their political social issues they got going on in their country. Over there in Ghana, they had a whole disinformation propaganda campaign spearheading a lot of anti-Foundation Black America propaganda talking points in Ghana. They had a whole propaganda company firm out there in Ghana. We were speaking on our political social issues over there. If I was to go over there to their country doing that stuff, they'd run me up out of their country real quick.
Mm-hmm.
They don't play it when it comes to get involved in their political social issues, though. So,
No, they
and
don't.
also is that, yeah, they don't play that, though. And also in the Caribbean is that the Caribbeans don't mess with each other all the time because I travel all throughout the Caribbean. Is that over there in Jamaica, it was this article that came out.
Uh oh, here
Is
we go.
that in
One
Jamaica,
second.
there was this article that came
I'm gonna
out
give
that,
you a good couple seconds to land, then we're gonna
yeah,
bring. Oh,
all right,
he's coming.
yeah, the Haitians arrived on the shore at Port Ontario, I think, in Jamaica, and a lot of Jamaican officials out there deported a whole lot of Haitians about Jamaica. In Barbados, the Barbadians have a whole movement over there where they deporting the Haitian Jamaicans out of Barbados, out of the Bahamas. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I'm gonna allow Revenue. I know he's gonna try to lie and talk about Marcus Garvey story. Let's hear what you got to say.
Yeah, revenue. You disagree with the prompts? What's on your mind?
Hey, peace, Afro Elite, and peace to the panel. Yeah, I was listening. I'm just hearing like the lies that's being spewed. I was just kind of confused. They
What are
say
the
that.
lies?
Oh well, we know that the founders of hip hop are Afro Caribbeans.
No, they
Who?
not.
Who are
Uh,
the founders of hip hop?
DJ Kool Herc, DJ Grandmaster Flash, and African Bambaataa. And
Those
to
are the
get up,
founders. Those are the founders.
yeah, that's a consensus among New York. Like that's not even debatable.
No, no,
No,
no, no,
Ain't
no.
no.
nobody's
Do
debating.
not speak. Hold on, revenue. Revenue. I'm New York FBA. Do not speak for New York. You're not indigenous to New York. I am. I
Right,
descend from those who were enslaved there. You are
right.
an immigrant. Say amongst the immigrants, because New York FBA tells a whole different story. We tell the truth.
What you mean indigenous to New York? We've been the
I'm
foundation of New
indigenous
York.
to New York because my great grandmother predates the country,
Right.
right?
It was Jamaicans already here
Okay, thank
before
you. No, no, no,
Reconstruction.
no, no, no. Let me tell you something. So I think that in New York, the tethers are the loudest and most embarrassing, right? But foundational Black Americans who have ties to enslavement in New York when it was New Amsterdam, whether they were enslaved by the Dutch or other persons, are still there. I'm one of those people. And what y'all are doing is y'all don't understand how to share culture. So they can't find shit that was already going on. Herc could not have founded, created hip hop in any type of way. Foundational Black American culture, wait, I'm not finished, was always there. And if you go to his old interviews, he states that nobody wanted to listen to reggae. Nobody. And he also had mentors. So you got to look for the FBA mentors who Herc was looking up to. We only used him for his sound system, and I heard he wasn't even that good. Okay? So you
Does
got to
that
cut it
change the
out. You
fact
do
that he's the
not speak for
pioneer?
New York, is my whole point. Hold on, because I'm sick of y'all tethers. I'm really sick of y'all.
Uh
Y'all do
oh.
not speak for New York. You do not. I'm New York FBA from the Bronx, and I see New York FBA from Brooklyn in the chat. Homie, I'm on your neck. Don't speak for the whole of New York. It's
We
not
the majority.
genuine
We the majority.
consensus if we're speaking out against it. Say, I thought that that's what was said, because I'm going to break you down every time. You don't speak for the whole of New York. FBA is still here. I'm tired of y'all.
Revenue, a
Now
real
try to
buster.
rephrase your sentence. You don't speak for all of New York.
Got ran
Thank you.
down,
yeah,
dude.
Revenue,
Got ran down.
That's
Revenue
for
trying to
you. I
lie.
can't even respond.
Revenue tried lie
No,
saying that
you're
Jamaicans
Well,
incorrect.
ethnic
fuck
You're
you.
speak
You
Pan
don't
incorrect.
speak
American.
for
How
all of
am I
New York.
incorrect? That you
Not when I'm foundational black
anybody can
American.
look up who the
Your
founders of hip hop
opinion,
are.
that's an
You do
Anybody.
the same
opinion.
shit on Tariq space. Come up there
I don't
That
lying.
really
that's
listen. This is
that's not
Afro.
debatable. And to say that we
Let
have
me
nothing.
ask
To
you a
ask
question.
you
Hold on,
not
hold
to
on.
deflect, and I'm going to
Let's
ask you not to
BX
speak for all of New York, because you are
BX.
not foundational to New York. You're not
He's
foundational
not,
to
and
the
he doesn't
country.
represent New York. BX.
Period.
Let me ask him a question though.
Okay,
What
go ahead.
makes somebody revenue? What makes somebody a founder of a music genre? What exactly makes somebody a founder? Because I keep noticing that the only people that you're referring to are immigrants. So okay. Because so you're not giving any credit to FBA because you're only referring to immigrants being the founder. So let me ask you, what exactly makes somebody a founder of a music genre? Let's see how well you know music.
Well, for one, they created the merry-go-round technique. That's only distinguished for hip hop. Like nobody was doing the merry-go-round technique prior to Grandmaster Flash and DJ Kool Herc. They created a new sound that was distinct from disco, funk, jazz, and all the other genres that was going on.
No,
Goddamn
I'm
lie.
asking, no, I'm not asking about hip hop in specific. I'm asking about music, period. What makes somebody a founder of a music genre? That's a very specific question, and I'm asking it for a reason.
Yeah, I just gave you the example. They came up with a
No. You
new
said they came up
musical
with a
technique.
technique. Stop, hold
Yeah,
on. They came up with a technique. There were techniques that were created decades after hip hop was established. That doesn't make them the founder. Creating a technique doesn't make you a founder of a music genre, unless that's what you think. But it doesn't. So I'm asking one last time, third time, what makes somebody a founder of a music genre?
I just gave my examples. If you could
Well, that was a
correct me,
pathetic,
then that would be
terrible,
better.
poor. No, that's not no example. Saying somebody came up with some technique, that's not no example.
So
Okay, so
what
you can't
constitute
revenue because
what
I looked up
constitute
the
the founder?
merry-go-round technique, right? And it says that it's the extension of a beat by the use of two turntables. However, the use of two turntables were used first in Philly by Mary Lee Dudley, a woman who was one of the first Black Americans to have her own radio program. So Kool Herc and the Puerto Ricans too never created anything that wasn't already being done. Did they participate in hip hop? Yes, I can't stop that. But the use of two turntables was by foundational Black Americans from Philly. Tagging, also, which the Puerto Ricans like to take credit for, was by Cornbread from Philly. Also, break dancing, we could find it on early film by the Mill Brothers and all those people from like the 30s and 40s. So what I'm saying to you is Jamaicans, the Caribbean, whether they're Puerto Rican, Jamaican, or whoever, right, participated, but they could not create what was already being done. And the elements that Herc used was already in use because Philly did it first, right? Okay. So verbiage is important because what y'all doing, especially in New York, we don't have the most tethers, right? And we actually outnumber y'all FBA if you add in our elders and stuff. But what y'all are doing are contributing to our erasure there. And New York doesn't have the same social standing as it used to because of y'all niggas, y'all island niggas. And y'all gotta cut it out.
What you
Y'all
mean? What do
gotta
you
cut it
mean?
out. I
What do
know
you
you
mean?
want some glory or something, but stick to reggae and dancehall, which we also influence, right? Because I just shared how Bob Marley's son was stating that he could not hit the Black American demographic. His first primary people audience were white tea, like hippies and stuff. You gotta cut it out. Y'all ain't they
But
create
since none of
shit
that
on
gonna
this
change the
land. Y'all
fact
just
that they date hip
participated.
hop to Kool
Y'all
Herc parties.
participated. That's it.
They don't
Y'all
date
just
hip hop to
participated.
James
They just
Brown.
participated, Afro.
They don't date
That's
hip
all they
hop to
did.
1920. They
Who
date
is
hip
they? Who
hop.
is they? Who is they? Who is
The
they? Who is they?
consensus
I just
of
want to ask
Who is
the
they?
Revenue a
consensus of the
question.
peers of Kool Herc. They date the start of hip hop as Kool Herc parties,
Hey, let me.
1973.
No,
Can I
Hey,
no,
ask?
that's
Hey,
not. No,
That's
no,
Revenue.
no,
that's
no.
a fact.
Okay, here's the thing, and we're done with this. We're done with this because this is off subject. So I want to get back on the subject. But here's the thing: when he can't say anything that's substantial, when he can't substantiate his claim, he'll say, "Well, that's just the consensus." That's because he can't substantiate that. He can't put a date on that. He can't put a name on that. He can't put a time on that. He can't put a demographic on that. So he'll say, "Well, that's just the
I
general
just said 1973 Kool Herc parties.
no. That's not the
Segue ass.
consensus. No, you're not gonna interrupt me, dude. The consensus is not that Cool Herc was the creator of hip hop. The consensus is not at all that hip hop is a Caribbean or a non FBA music genre. I asked him 3 separate times what makes somebody a founder of a music genre, and when they will be in the chat room, be all like, "You're wrong, you're wrong, you don't know anything, you don't know anything." I said, "Okay, fine. What makes somebody a founder of a music genre?" Well, okay, we had this one party, and a lot of people came. He doesn't know. I had to ask him 3 times, and he was Googling. I bet he Googled something at that time, because if he knew that answer, he would have said it the first time I asked that question. I had to ask him 3 times for him to Google an answer, and then BX corrected that answer. These people don't really know music that well. They really don't. They really don't know music that well, but they want to claim something. They look so desperately to claim something, and you don't know that. He doesn't know. Kool Herc himself has never taken credit or never asked to be taken credit for being the founder of hip hop. He doesn't do that. And if he doesn't do that, none of these other people can. None of these other people can or will.
Yeah, I
But
said that
think
his
about it.
peers crowned him the founder
Do
of
you
the
know
hip
who
hop.
Disco Mario is?
Yes, but Disco Mario is not. He did disco. His
Why?
name
No, no, no,
tells it
no, no.
itself.
Why? What?
Disco
No, no,
King
no, no, no,
Mario.
no,
He
no, no,
did
no, no, no,
not.
no,
What
no,
is wrong
no,
with
no, no,
you?
no. Why is Disco Mario not a founder? Why is he not?
I never said he wasn't.
But no, but you didn't give him credit, because when you said who the founder was, you only said immigrant. So why didn't you give him credit?
Well, that's the consensus of New York, or the eyewitness that was there in the
Stop. Okay, that's enough.
1970s. I
That's enough.
wasn't
That's
born in the
enough. That's
1970s.
enough. That's enough. See, when you
That's
can't,
not the
when
consensus of
he's
New
trying to
York.
push a narrative, and then to substantiate evidence that he can't substantiate his claims, so he'll say, "Well, no, I mean that's just the consensus. That's just the consensus." No, it's not. No, it's
I
not.
don't
That's
mean.
not just the consensus. There was a whole documentary made. Shout out to Tariq about that. But you see how these tethers lie, which is exactly why Pan Africanism isn't working, because you're coming to another person's land. You're in America. You're not in New York. I mean, you're in I said America. You're not in New York. You're in New York. You're not in the Caribbean. But you're trying to claim onto something that doesn't belong to you, and that's the colonize or colonizer mindset that we have to deal with. We don't go to Jamaica and then claim reggae, even though, to be very honest, we are a factor in reggae and the success and the advancements of that. But we leave it alone. We don't try to claim their stuff, they dances, they music, they holidays, they tribes, they none of it. Even though, to be very honest with you, we influence a lot of that.
My brother, I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to jump in real quick because he said something. He said he wasn't there. Brother, I was there, right? I'm 59 years old. This everybody like to get on me about being an old ass and an old head. Well, yeah, I'm an old head out of Fort Greene, Brooklyn, New York. I was in a group called Fabulous Five. We was one of the few groups in Brooklyn who was rocking out like the cats were in Harlem. And what you said is a flat out lie. No one, and I'm saying this absolute fact, no one other than us had anything to do with the creation of hip hop. In fact, one of the earliest dudes who was in hip hop, Hispanic dude, Latino dude, Charlie Chase, down with was down with Cold Crush. Even he states at the beginning when he got into it, his own parents was telling him, "Ain't nobody gonna listen to you doing this. Basically, ain't nobody gonna listen to you being a Puerto Rican doing this black music." Why would they say that? Because Puerto Ricans weren't into it. As far as the Caribbeans go, you cats were not messing with hip hop until much later on. You had nothing to do with it. Kool Herc didn't create anything. He did what we was already doing. This thing that he called the merry-go-round with 2 turntables. How could you be so ignorant? Before there's a hip hop, before we're rapping, white tea people and radio stations are using 2 turntables. All those jams that we used to have. Do you even know what a jam is? Do you know the difference between a jam and a block party? See, because I was out there in those streets running around in Brooklyn, Harlem, and the Bronx, and you're a flat out liar. You're flat out lying and erasing our history. Caribbean people, Hispanic people, no one had anything to do with the creation of hip hop, not even the breakdancing. Had nothing to do with that but us. Everyone else who joined in it joined in afterwards. Like the sister said, it was already created, it was already going on. Then you guys came into it. Y'all didn't create it, and Herc didn't create it. Stop lying, man. I was there.
Can I say something to that
Thank you
as
very
well,
much,
man?
brother. Hold on, but let's get to some of the other people who haven't spoken yet, because we can't be on too much later. You know, we already been on for like a hour or two, maybe. All right. So let's get to FBA. I'm gonna say this one last time. I'm gonna say this one last time. Let's say it's Amara. Amara, you with us?
She might be asleep.
It probably. It's okay. Next time. So she's not here. We're gonna let that, and I was being gracious. We're gonna let that spot up. We're gonna allow my brother come back up. You want to come back up, or we gonna let FBA Dynasty go ahead?
Hey, what's up, Afro Elite, man? Your boy from LA, man. You know I be calling into your YouTube show, man.
Oh,
What's up,
appreciate it,
ZZ,
bro.
man? Hey, ZZ, I just followed you though, sister. I follow you. I'm a fan of you.
Oh,
Hey, look, man. Hey, look. This is the thing with revenue, man. And I'm gonna get to the topic real quick and land. This thing with revenue, he just wish it hurt him so bad. He just wish he was an FBA, man, so he can appropriate the culture, man, and try to come up and make money off the culture, just like Mav Hoffa tether ass, just like Busta Rhymes tether ass, and all the rest of them other tether ass, like Fat Joe Crack ass. Him. They all try to cosplay, man, and make money off our culture. That's why they want to be accepted and try to undermine and come in the culture and make money off our rap hip hop culture, man. They full of shit. That's why they getting X'd out. But I wanna get to the topic, man. Why Pan Africanism is not working. Hey, look, I'm gonna talk about my experience real quick, though, Afro. You know, I talk to you. You know, I call into your show, brother. Like, man, like, you know, even in over here, man, in the mainland, in the United States, right? When I go to the gas station, Afro Elite, and I go up in the gas station, you got somebody from the diaspora, or you got a tether behind that cash register, and I go say, man, let me get 25 on number three, and the damn host snatched the money out my hand, and I'm like, yeah, damn, how disrespectful are you like that? You in my damn country. You understand what I'm saying? The 14th Amendment, my ancestors have fought and died for, is the reason why you up in this gas station, you know what I'm saying, selling gas to me right now. So don't snatch no money out my hand. You know what I'm saying? She almost made me just knock everything off, you know, off the racks up in the goddamn gas station. But I told her, give me my money back. Now, accept my money the same way I gave it to you. They come out here and they real disrespectful, Afro, like I tell you all the time, brother. You know what I'm saying? And then when it comes to some white folk, she run all behind the cash register, all outside the damn gas station to try to pump the white man gas. You understand what I'm saying? But she's snatching the money away from me. That's the vitriolic shit we be talking about revenue. You know what I'm saying? Y'all come with that tribalism over here, man, and come disrespect us, bro. We not gonna have that. We gonna check that real hard, bro. You know what I'm saying? All that lying and scamming shit, we not accepting that in our culture, brother. You know what I'm saying? Keep that shit in Jamaica. If y'all can't get along with Jamaica, take your ass back over there to that island and knock each other over the head with motherfucking cow bones or bull bones or whatever the fuck y'all do. Don't come over here, man, with that vitriolic, disrespectful shit, man. We don't get down like that with each other out here, bro. We own code, man. We respectful with each other, bro, and we don't go to each other's business snatching money out of people's hands and shit like we ain't shit. You can let that white man tell you all that old fake shit he tell us about, but you can go in here, you can get your head cracked, bro, being disrespectful with some real FBAs out here who ain't playing. I know Afro Elite don't promote violence, but some of us be on that time when y'all get out of pocket with us, bro. So stop lying and scamming, because we ain't playing with y'all bitch ass, man. Take that shit back to y'all homeland, bro,
Okay.
because we gonna turn up on y'all sucker ass. But I'm gonna land right there, man.
Okay. Thank you, brother. All right. All right. Some real LA energy in here. All right. All right. Love it. Love it.
Can,
Love it. But we do
after,
not promote violence. We do not do that. If you
we
think we do
don't.
that, you're wrong, because we don't. We don't do that.
Right. But can I remind everybody the definition of ethnocide? It's the deliberate systemic destruction of an ethnic group or culture. When I go to Google and see that they have changed definitions, that's the deliberate systemic destruction. They not only do that when it comes to hip hop. I'm also an urban fiction author. Do you know at one point in time they changed the definition to include Tokyo? Urban fiction was not born in Tokyo. The settings for urban fiction are usually New York, Chicago, LA, like our inner city areas, right? The South is included because we have a lot of authors coming from the South. That is ours, right? But because now the Mexicans, the Asians, they're trying to latch on to certain things, they are changing definitions. So this is ethnocide in real time, but we say it as erasure. It's deliberate, it's systemic, and revenue is an agent here to contribute to that.
Hey,
I'm
B,
not gonna let it happen.
hey, BS, can I
All
say
right.
something real quick?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be real. I'm not
Uh,
gonna be long. Afro Elite.
okay.
Like over there in the '80s, because I was born in '93. Over there, I remember like people talk about the East Coast West Coast war, right? That was some terrorists that started. Like you had Biggie Smalls, which was a Jamaican, and you had Haitian Jack. They were one of the main people that instrumented East Coast West Coast beef. That's some terror type stuff like that. Woman in Africa, Abby, now she tried to turn American Indians against Foundation Black Americans. That's basically some terror type stuff right over there, just like they did in the East Coast West Coast war, trying to turn our people against each other. Though that was terrorists with Haitian Jack and Biggie Small, which was a Jamaican. So I'm letting the family know that's some basically some terror stuff what they doing though, trying to turn our people against each other.
Mm, that's true. That division, that tribalism, that's very true. We're gonna get to D and then Mara. D, you can
Can
go
y'all
ahead.
hear me good?
Yes.
Okay, is that better? Because it's a little delayed. Y'all can
Okay.
hear
Yeah,
me?
but yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Everybody, well, good morning, rather. Good morning, everybody. I hope y'all doing great. I'm Deidre. I'm from Chicago. And why Pan Africanism is not working? Because it's not reciprocal. And anytime you're in a situation or a partnership and it's not reciprocal, automatically somebody is going to get drained at some point. And we fed up because again, y'all said so much stuff. I don't even know where to start because there's been a lot that has been said that I share the same sentiments with. In terms of what the brother up top, FBA, just said, in terms of how they feel about us. Now, I'm from Chicago, but I grew up north, and up north, I lived amongst the immigrant class, particularly the Africans. They were not hollering that they was black. And just like BX said, this is happening in real time right now in terms of how these people are trying to casually erase us like we're not supposed to say nothing about it. When I type in black on anything, I should be able to see us. So how these folks suddenly decide that they want to co-opt or swap with us, they were casually saying with their whole chest for decades, I'm not black. So since you have not been black, you're not going to casually try to co-opt what we got going on right now. Nevertheless, I don't really want to, because I know it's a lot going on in terms of how we're going to start classifying ourselves. But the fact of the matter is, nothing is new under the sun. Like the brother below me said, Randall, we are who we've been. Like he said, they want to latch on to us because we are the warrior class when it comes to, you know, handling business. These people have vitriol and disdain for us for real. Maybe not everybody, but on a collective scale, it's BLK Americans versus everybody. So at this point, we have no more to give. And I appreciate y'all for holding the line. I'm a little late as it pertains to hopping on the app. I didn't even know I was FBA. The Africans gonna tell me who I am. When they see me coming, they call me the pretendian FBA. So I say, okay, it is what it is. We not giving no more to them because they don't even care for us. I heard the most disgusting conversation today. I'm gonna land on this. This why they want to latch on to us. This morning, first conversation I hear, I go to a panel, is Nigerians and Ghanaians. They beefing with each other real hard. And this Nigerian gonna have a nerve to say, look at the African Americans. They are who they are because of us, because they come from us. And he said it with authority. And that's a lie from the pits of hell. We are who we are because of our ancestors. When I first got on this app, I was disrespected by some dweeb Africans from damn London, Britain, wherever, telling me, yo, because I was like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know it was real beef on this app. I'm not gonna lie. So it was a panel. Oh, where are you? Where are you from? So my grandmother has always told me that her mother was in India. My grandma, 103 years old. Her mother passed when she was 7. So at the time, I didn't do too much digging and dabbing. I just understood what my grandmother said, and I just rocked with it. I don't have to question her. She my elder. I'm not fed up. What do you mean? That don't make sense. Da-da-da. It is what it is. So to come on this app and hear all kind of different stories and narratives, I believe what we saying. We are truth tellers. We don't just be lying. We don't going across all over the place. We're not liars. We have integrity. Nevertheless, these people don't like us. They don't really care to work with us. If mass deportation was not a factor, it wouldn't be no kumbaya. So Pan Africanism don't work because it don't even work for them on a continent, and it's unrealistic. And I land there.
Much respect. Thank you very much, sis. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Problem. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Of course, of course. Yeah, we got to tell the truth. We have to tell the truth to fix the problem. And that's what we're doing here. We're problem solving people. In order to do that, you got to tell the truth. All right. So we're going to get to Myra or Mariah. My fault. Mariah. I'm not even reading it. Mariah, are you with us? All right, maybe next time. Let's get to FBA Prime.
Hey, what's up? What's up? I'm back again. I more want to speak back on the hip hop thing because I think people are forgetting about the publications of that time frame of the 90s that was pushing the whole Caribbean people, founded hip hop like Kool Herc. You got people like what was his name? He's a radio host. He worked under Diddy.
Brother,
Sorry, think about it.
you got some loud bells in the background, brother.
Yeah, my bad.
It's
I'm trying.
mighty
Let me get out the car.
Christmassy.
My bad. I gotta get out the car. That's my partner. But
And
I
Diddy
forget
is
his name.
part
That escaped
Trinidadian, y'all. So when y'all be trying to insult us with Diddy, go to Trinidad and ask them why they people so nasty. Okay, you and like baby oil.
Oh,
Y'all do that.
it's real nasty. Because, especially my boy over in Trinidad, they do a whole lot of degenerate stuff over there in Trinidad, man. Especially in Port of Spain, it's real bad over there.
Okay,
Oh,
we gotta be
Flex.
mindful
That
of
was
this,
his name.
Okay.
How about Funk Flex? That was his name. He's Caribbean and he was pushing that same thing. So we gotta take the whole Caribbean thing with a grain of salt because they're the only ones who try and push that narrative, and they try to do it by using publication magazines to push that. I'll end there.
All right, appreciate that. Appreciate you. We're gonna get to Bay, and then we're gonna wrap things up there.
Hey, what's up? This is Bay Black American Establishment. This is the hub for Black American owned business. What's up, Afro Lead? This is the foundation.
What's good with you, bro?
I'm good. I'm good. So Pan Africanism, as we know, Pan Africanism having worked for the last 65 years has been one sided. Um, we've been pouring our empty cups into other people for the last 65 years. And for the first time in 65 years, it's time for us to pour into our own cups. We've been the emotional currency of the world. We've been jumping in front of everyone's atrocities, and we haven't seen any tangibles from Pan Africanism. Right. We see the symbolic gestures, the feel goods, but we don't see tangibles when it come down to Pan Africanism, right? As a matter of fact, we don't even see Pan Africanism on the continent, right? But then they come over here and what they want to do is push Pan Africanism, because what Pan Africanism is hey, let's come together to take your money, your 1.9 to 2.6 trillion dollars to build my country. I can't build myself. That's what Pan Africanism is. Let's be clear what Pan Africanism is. Because if Pan Africanism was a real thing, they would be doing it in their country. But they only put Pan Africanism when they wanted to go to Ghana and build Ghana up and make it Miami 2.0 off the backs of our people with $5 billion on paper and a couple of $1 billion underground on the black market. right? They want Pan Africanism when they have the year return Benin and the year return Sierra Leone. But Sierra Leone says straight up, I need $100,000 and $10,000 a month. So they want Pan Africanism when it's time to build their country that they can't do themselves, because it's all about taking part of the 1.9 and 2.6 trillion dollars. Because if you look at when it came down to the African American parade, they had all the RGB flags, they had the red, all the flags out. But then when it came to that Nigerian parade right after, a week after, we didn't see that red, black, and green flags out. Where was that at?
Mm-hmm.
Where was the Pan Africanism flag? I see a whole bunch of Nigeria green, and I see those flags out. So where the red, black, and green flags in the Nigerian parade? You don't see that because they don't believe in Pan Africanism, right? So again, what they do is come here and they gaslight us, and they try to make it seem like we are one. But I call it social unity, economic warfare. I'm gonna say that again: social unity, economic warfare. And what that means is what they've been doing for the last 65 years is making communities within our communities separating and then hiring their own friends and families and their own enclaves, right? Little Ghana in the Bronx, Senegal, Harlem, Africatown in Philly, Egypt in Little Egypt in Queens, and all throughout the 50 states, they again make their own communities and they separate away from us. But then they're talking about some Pan Africanism when they want you to pay into them. No, we're not going to play that game. For the people that like to say we're quote unquote xenophobic, you guys been separated. We actually last of the bunch to separate and do our own group economics, right? And so now we're saying shout outs to y'all for doing your group economics. It's our turn to do it. And then and now we get all the boogeyman names of xenophobic, hatred, and all these boogeyman names, but we want to do the same thing y'all been doing for the last 65 years. Stop gaslighting because you want to take our 1.9 to 2.6 trillion dollars. The veil's lifted. We see what y'all been doing. Y'all manipulators, y'all scammers, and we see clear now. And so we're gonna move accordingly because you guys said, and I'm gonna land on this. You guys say straight up, I come here for opportunity. I come here to take back what's been taken from me. And y'all don't go to these white tea neighborhoods. Y'all go to our neighborhoods to take back what y'all think has been taken from y'all. So y'all not coming here to be on code. Y'all coming here to do what you need to do for yourself. So don't gaslight us with the xenophobia when there's economic warfare going on. And I'll land on that.
Right. And I think that's the perfect way to land. Perfect way to land. And I think that's a perfect way to close so we can wrap this up. You guys definitely need to go to For the Culture because that's where this is going to be. That's where this is going to be, y'all. Y'all don't want to miss out on that. Y'all don't want to miss out on that. That channel's busting. Go there. Subscribe. Watch the playback. Watch the podcast. Watch the lives. Watch all of that. For the Culture. Go ahead. Channel's lit. I'm telling you. We just had a huge live with our brother Tariq on there. Okay, everybody's loving it. Everybody's talking about it. Y'all go there. Y'all subscribe For the Culture on YouTube. With that being said, ZZ, do you have anything you'd like to land with?
Yes. Closing thoughts, real quick. Let me double back on that hip hop thing. I'm not gonna go too far. Just wanted to say Black Americans make the best music. Period. We make the most influential music. Period. So to act like that you can contribute our music to any other group is absolutely asinine. That doesn't even make sense. We are the reason we are popping. Even if that were true, why aren't these other places popping like we are? Why ain't nobody pushing out music that's as influential as us? It's because it's not happening. Y'all can't do it like we do. It just is what it is. Get over it. Anyways, final thoughts. Pan Africanism is not the solution. Blackness is the solution. B1 is the solution. On code is the solution. Okay. And us trying to prioritize ourselves is the first step within anything. When you can't take care of everybody else, you can't take care of nothing if you don't take care of home first. So that's the plan. I know we want to support our brothers and sisters across the globe. Black power, we with y'all, but we gotta stand for us first, and we gotta get these reparations popping. We gotta identify and distinct who and make it clear who we are. So yeah, Pan Africanism is not going to do that. Oh,
You're muted.
Yeah, we can't hear you, brother.
You're muted, Afro.
My fault. My bad. My bad. Shout out to you for that. Yes, indeed. All right, BX, can you do us the honors of closing us out?
So I gotta ask you, Afro, when are you coming back on live on TikTok again?
Um, I don't know. Tomorrow's a very very busy day. I'm gonna be up
Okay.
early in the morning tomorrow. I'm gonna be up all day tomorrow. So maybe a late night one if I got some time. I can't promise it though. If not, we'll do something Friday, like in the day ish.
All right. Yeah. And tomorrow I do have an appointment, so I'll be home
Somebody said give the
early.
YouTube channel again. It's Afro Elite. That's one of them. It's for the culture on YouTube. This is for the culture on YouTube. Okay. Okay.
So tomorrow
You
I'll
like
be
I'm
home in
so
the
proud to
evening.
that
So
one
if you
already. You said something else. I'm just trying. Okay.
So if you want a late night live, I'll be available late night. I want to say this. I love foundational Black Americans for real and anybody of the lineage who can identify as such. We can have individual friends from different ethnic groups, but we have to understand that collectively they aren't writing for our people. The Caribbean has pretty much snaked us in New York since they started migrating here with locking us out of home ownership, things of that nature. And now they're popping up in our reparations meetings and they're popping up in our spaces doing what revenue did instead of building something that they could be proud of based off of their heritage, right? So
Yes,
this whole, huh?
we
So
put
this,
it out.
yes, Black Vanguard.
Yeah, we put a stop to that out here in California. Though we cut that real quick out here. We didn't play that at all. So we started seeing the terrorists on the California Reparations Task Force. We got
Hmm.
most of them out the way. We said hell no, you guys got to go.
Right. Black Vanguard, shout out to Cali. I always give Cali the props for the things that they are actively fighting for and winning, securing, such as the SB 515. The issue here is that we have a large Pan African community, and we also have elders who are stuck in their ways. I'm gonna just do a little selfless plug, Afro Elite, really fast. If you go to my main page, the bio, and click my YouTube channel, you'll see what happened when we went to talk about the African American Day Parade, changing the name and stuff. And when Black American was mentioned, or foundational Black American was mentioned, it was a lot of resistance. Afterwards, it smoothed out, and they said they'll provide the platform, and we could rent a float, we could wave our flags, but their concern are African Americans and the enslaved because they descend from those as if foundational Black Americans don't. So shout out to them for the end, getting over the hump and offering us the platform. But it's time sometimes when people have a standing in certain places for us to create our own. So we'll be looking for ideas and stuff like that to see how we're going to move forward. But I do suggest we can do both. Join the parade, the name of change itself, and also create our own. Because foundational Black Americans are here to stay. We're not against the American Indians because that's the new thing. They want us to kind of conform to what they're saying, such as identifying as original American or American something else and removing the Black. But the Mexicans, who are also in the chat, saying they're the real Americans or the real indigenous to this land. So no matter what we identify as, people are going to tether on. Pan Africanism is good in theory, but they drop the ball when it comes to
Hold
Black
on.
Americans.
Hold
We
on.
always get the short end of the stick, and that we're not going for
Hold
anymore. What
on. Is
happened?
that the? Hold on. Wait 1 second. Is that who I think it is? Are you the real Pan African think tank?
Uh-oh.
Hold
We're gonna
on.
have to drop somebody.
Oh
Are
boy.
they
Hold
coming
on. Is
up?
that? Let me check real quick. Is that really who I think it is? Are you
You
the
let them
Pan
come up.
African think tank from YouTube? I don't know. I don't know. I don't see you up there. I'm
If
looking
his
at the
page is
page.
private,
I'm
you
looking
might.
at his page right now. I don't see any. It's a bunch of other people's content, so I can't tell.
Right, because you know
Yeah.
what, they're migrating here to
You already know,
TikTok.
Pan. Don't do it to yourself, Pan African. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. He don't like me. He's mentioned that on YouTube. He's mentioned
What?
that. If he's
Well,
the
what
same
about if
guy,
he's
but
my?
he's mentioned on YouTube that he's not fond of me. So I just want to know. But it might not be.
But if that's you, can you just request up 2 minutes and just get it off your chest real fast while we have you here? Because the next time I may just block you just because I know you're an op and we don't want the panel disrupted. So now's your chance. Might have to drop somebody, Afro.
Let's see
You
where we
can
go
drop
now.
me. I want to hear it. Drop me.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Come on. Hold on. We supposed to be
Yeah.
wrapping stuff up.
And I'm a
I'm
mute
just
up.
waiting to see if you the real one. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
come up, I'm trying to see if there's anything to say this is really him. You got a lot of other people's content up there. You don't got none of your own.
Afro, can I ask you a question, bro?
Yeah. What's on? What's up? What's on your mind?
Live on that xenophobia word that people like to throw because that seems to be a thing that people just knew anti-Semitic. It's like anti-Semitic. Everybody want to just throw that out there. People want to do the same group economics that they've been doing for the last 65 years, and we want to do the same thing. It's quote unquote xenophobia. So I would love to like if you could expound on that xenophobia word.
Okay, yeah, we are gonna have because that is a big thing that's been talked about. Well, I'm not sure if you're the same Pan African think tank on YouTube, because the one on YouTube don't like me, and that's okay. I like being disliked by certain people. I do, I do. I was talking to my little sister about that. It's a weird thing, but I really do. But if you're not, that's fine. But we're not gonna stay up all night because you're not hitting that request button. So it is what it is. BX, you can finish closing us out.
Right. So Pan Africanism is good in theory, right? So
He
but
says
they
no,
dropped
I'm
the
not.
ball.
Okay, so he's not the same one. He's not the same one. Unless you're
Oh,
hiding.
okay.
Unless you're hiding. But we don't know. Continue, BX. Go ahead.
It's good in theory, but they have dropped the ball on us, right? They know they're not uh ethnically black, right? Can't take their race away from them. But remember this: if they ever decide to migrate home before they hit a body bag, there won't be no black American, African American for them. They'll go back to being Yoruba. They'll go back to being Jamaican. They'll go back to being Haitian. You know what I'm saying? It's only here that they try to colonize us. And as far as getting their resources back, because America destabilized them, that's fine. Why aren't you January 6th? Why aren't you over there in the white tea people making them give you portions of your wealth? It's really ironic or it's really disingenuous to tell us that when all you do is come here and lend to our subjugation. So again, ethnocide. That's what black Americans are facing in diverse cities and including the nation. That's what we're fighting against. It's not divisive. It's not xenophobia to demand that our government repairs us. And no immigrant is entitled to what we're asking for because they wasn't here. And what does Brooke say, who I see in the chat too? Shout out to her. If you weren't here when services were rendered, then you don't get payment. Like, what is so hard about that? Really easy concept. Thank you, Afro D, for letting me talk.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. You all have a good night.
Peace. Be one.